believers, non-believers, unaffiliated believers, sort of believers, you think I'm a believer's welcome. My non-university students, welcome to the Uncensored Unprofessor. And a special UU shout out to all of you I'm tired of being a Christian kind of Christians. There's more beauty to this life than you've been led to believe. I'm not sure if you read these recent headlines. Something went wrong in jet crash, expert says. Police begin campaign to run down jaywalkers.
That is so funny.
Safety experts say school bus passengers should be belted. Drunk gets 9 months in violin case. That's going to be a tight fit, isn't it? Survivor of Siamese twins joins parents. Farmer Bill dies in-house. Wait, was that Farmer Bill or Farmer Bill? Iraqi head seeks arms. That's not going to turn out well. Is there a ring of debris around Uranus? Or is it Uranus? Wait, what? Stud tires out. And prostitutes appeal to Pope. I don't know if they're appealing to the Pope or if he finds them appealing.
That's gross.
But it's good to laugh. My thanks to people.bu. edu for those headlines. Honestly, I believe God has an amazing sense of humor. And I won't even recount that exhausted pastoral joke. Just look in the mirror. Are you kidding me? Does God have a sense of humor? Look at penguins, koala bears, moose, hooded seals, sloths, proboscis monkeys, alpacas, tapirs. They're all just goofy-looking animals. No, I know. Some of you are now considering filing a hate complaint with the FCC because I'm laughing at funny-looking animals. Oh, go ahead, I don't care. After all, I just did finish a self-defense course, though I wouldn't recommend that anyone now attack me in slow motion. Thanks to shortfunny.com for that dumb one.
If you like listening to the podcast and glean from these episodes, consider heading over to the Patreon page at patreon.com/uncensoredunprofessor to support the podcast. This helps us to continue the work we do to produce quality episodes for you each week.
Why am I, the UU, a Christian? Because it makes me a better person? Makes me my best self? Nope. Because it makes me happier and shinier, right? Nope. 'Cause God answers all my prayers like he's a genie in a bottle for me, right? Nuh-uh. I'm a Christian for the social connections, the relationships? Nada. I'm a Christian 'cause I'm more gooder? Well, I hope that's true, but it's not my first reason. I'm a Christian, I gotta tell you, I'm a Christian because it's true. Jesus of Galilee walked the planet, healed people, died, rose to new life. It all happened. It's true. And if it weren't true, I wouldn't believe it, follow it, practice it, embrace it, or live it. Well, this is my first episode in a series on graces in the Christian worldview. And as a Christian, I'm starting with what is the most important quality for me, the most important grace for me, truth. Today I want to think out loud with you about truth. What is truth? What is truth in the Christian reality? But first, I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you believe? What motivates your faith? Have you ever asked yourself that? Now, I know, hard questions are hard. It's painful to do some introspection, especially about such important matters as one's own worldview, one's own wiring, one's own life. Me, I agree with Socrates. The unexamined life is not worth living. So, just why do you believe? I think if you can answer that, not just when others are asking you, but for yourself, you'll be in a better place in life. It's good to know why you believe. It's good to know your foundations, motivations, hungers, life goals. And me again, I believe because I love truth. We live in an era that has mostly given up on truth. We're surrounded by a circus of cynics. No wonder they're checking out, becoming druggies, getting addicted, living full of despair and rage and ugliness. They don't believe in truth. I do. But I believe in truth because of God, not the other way around. I don't believe in God because of truth, but I believe in truth because of God. Without a God, truth is indeed merely a social construction, an opinion, an interpretation of the events. But because there's a God, there is truth. He is truth. He's so truthful, he doesn't violate his character. And more, God built the universe with truth woven into its very fabric. So yeah, truth exists. It's usually more a matter of accepting it, a matter of our will than of science, than of our brains. And for me, that makes the people who say they only believe in science or in scientific facts all the more strange. You see, my good listener, we're told that some people only want objective truth.
Just the facts, ma'am.
They say it's possible to live for truth that is rooted in science or mathematics.
What is the baseline truth of your life?
2 + 2 = 4.
Seriously?
Oh yes, I only live based on scientific facts. But do you really know anybody like that? Me neither. Science cannot address, less solve, our most pressing existential and spiritual problems. We need truth, deeper truth. God bless mathematics, but the whole human race needs a reality that is deeper than math. How can math generate love or deep relationship? How can science help you cope with the death of your mother? How can pure rationality motivate you to live a certain way across your life? It can't, right? And thank you, praise you, living God, for math and science, but we need deeper truth. And we're hungry for truth because God created us for truth. He didn't intend that we amble around in the darkness of opinion or the darkness of other people's control games. We need truth. And given that we need real truth, objective truth, why do so many today seem to ghost it? Wish it away, play mind games to the effect that it doesn't exist? Well, I've been reading a book by Peter Kreeft and Ken Tacelli, Tacelli, Kreeft and Tacelli, and they offer what I think are some piercing answers. First, they say, in Handbook of a Christian Apologetics, too many folks, and I wonder is it most people? Too many folks don't accept objective truth because they want to be accepted more than they want the truth. Now, this is the theme I address repeatedly in my podcasts. We are sheeple. Sheeple like to be accepted by the rest of the mindless herd. It's no fun to be viewed as an outlier, a square, a dope. I was like that in high school. I wanted my popular friends to like me, so I did things that I knew were wrong, things that broke with biblical truth in order to fit in. And today, millions deny the existence of truth so that their friends will like them. Kreeft and Ticelli note, secondly, that many people deny the existence of objective truth, and with it, its flip side of embracing a subjective view of truth, right? If that's true for you, it's true for you. But if it's not true for me, then it's not true for me. Or different strokes for different folks. Or all truth is socially constructed. And many other self-contradictory beliefs. Many people hold and embrace those things in order to shock their parents or shock their church or shock the broader culture, Kreeft and Ticelli say. And I'm afraid, especially regarding the truth of morality, that is a really prevalent dynamic. They embrace things to shock. Third, people will, the authors write, deny the existence of truth so they don't have to change. Some people actually fear conversion, fear being born again. Me? I believe millions deny the truth because they don't want to confess Jesus as Lord. A fourth constant reason people deny the existence of objective truth is that they don't want, Kreeft and Ticelli assert, they don't want to give up either their consumerism or their sexual freedom. Because it's true, the Western world is zealous, ardently zealous, to protect both its greed and lust. So there's lots of reasons people don't want to believe in truth, especially don't want to believe in objective truth. As I'm going to argue over and over, it places claims on us. It places claims on us. Okay, so let's get to it. What is truth? Well, here's a baseline definition. That which corresponds to reality, that which is actual, that which is real, and that's critical. Does that idea correspond to reality? Does boiling your water equate to more or less diarrhea, right? Does the polio vaccine eliminate polio or not? For a couple centuries here in America, polio wreaked havoc. Did you know that in the 1950s there were about 25,000 new polio cases per year? In 1953 alone there were 58,000 new cases. Polio attacks the nervous system. Even in acute cases, it attacks motor nerve cells in the brainstem. Polio can weaken or paralyze arms and legs. It can affect breathing and swallowing, and all of that can cause lifelong fatigue. Vaccines have enabled millions of us to live polio-free. And to that I say, thank you, Lord, for science. But when it comes to the truths that guide our lives, that definition, that which corresponds to reality, it doesn't get us very far. It only throws us back into a fight about interpretation and our preferences. And knowing that about truth, knowing that about people's, why Kreeft and Ticelli said, quote, truth is objective, people usually aren't, end quote. There's more to truth. Or there's more to telos truth, more to the truth that guides our life than mere correspondence. A second definition I want you to know about truth pertains to objective truth. And objective truth is truth that's independent of the knower or of the knower's consciousness. You see, in our POMO world, we're commonly told that objective truth does not exist. But that's just dumb. The sun rose today, independent of you, the knower. The sun's going to rise tomorrow, independent of your consciousness. You and me and millions of others have no bearing upon objective truth. It exists regardless. In social media posts today or in college classes, we'll hear dumb things like, truth is just a social construction. But that's dumb. And it's dumb because that phrase too is just a social construction. And it's dumb B because it's not true. Gravity's true regardless of people's belief in it. God exists whether people believe that or want to believe that. And we should pause to say that regarding objective truth, there's other stupid sayings that are self-contradictory, and I want you to know these, right? Because you hear them, you experience them. There's no such thing as absolute truth. But that's an absolute truth assertion. You can't say that without contradicting yourself. Or you'll hear out on the street, truth is unknowable. But in saying truth is unknowable, you just claim to know the truth. That truth is not knowable. Or we run into these kind of adages, right? Everyone's knowledge is limited. Or everyone's knowledge contains errors. Or everyone's knowledge is perspectival. Okay, yeah, but that all those are true in every case presupposes that we can know the truth. If we can't know the truth, there is 0 point to saying everyone's knowledge is limited. If we cannot know the truth, there's 0 point to saying everyone's knowledge contains errors. If we cannot know the truth, there's 0 point to saying everyone's knowledge is perspectival, right? Kreeft and Ticelli rightly say, quote, the very concept of error presupposes some certain knowledge of truth. By the way, in my last episode I talked about truth being contextual. I was not thereby denying the existence of truth or of objective truth. What I was trying to argue is that the incarnation, the embodiment of God in Jesus, should stop making us fear that Christian truth is embodied. And I got to say thank you, Tanya. Thank you, honey, for thinking aloud with me about that one. Sometimes I'm doing stream of consciousness stuff and I'm not necessarily careful, so I apologize for that. Here's another one. Oh my gosh, you guys. Here's another one that is so common today.
But my feelings don't tell me that that is true.
No, I've been talking about that one at some length in my premium podcast about today's neo-Marxist churches. That one is becoming sad and silly for so many Christians. Please stop thinking like a teenager. Grow up. Do I really need to stop and explain that feelings are not facts? Goodness. This is a diseased belief today. Feelings are facts. Yes, sometimes feelings can perceive objective truth. For example, when a mom feels love for her ugly baby. But frequently our feelings are false, right? We can, Kreeft and Ticelli say, we can become infatuated with someone we ought not love. Or we can fear silly things like fearing clowns or fear of going outside, right? Agoraphobia, or fear of being spied on by people lurking inside your computer. Wait, that one may be more and more legit. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are frequently erroneous. And that's not true just about the feelings of individuals. Entire families, entire subcultures, entire cultures' feelings can be bent, goodness, malformed, erroneous. For Pete's sake, some people root for the St. Louis Cardinals. By itself, that proves the erroneous nature of feelings. Again, truth is objective. People usually aren't. There are many truths that are independent of the knower or of the knower's consciousness. Here's some more on truth. Here's some more thinking aloud with you about truth. Truth is fidelity, constancy, integrity. Now, if we say it like that in light of our Christian faith, we're really getting on to something. If we say that in light of what it means to be human and to live meaningful lives, now we're really on to something. Truth is integrity. The truth of the earth's gravity is a constant. Don't believe me? Go out and fall sideways off the top of your minivan, right? Truth involves constancy and fidelity. Fidelity means loyalty, faithfulness, right? That your daughter seems to struggle with telling you the truth is a matter that goes deeper than mere correspondence with reality. By her lying, she's putting something between you and her. In old King James Version speak, that something is a fence. She's putting a barrier. She's putting a fence between you and her because she's not speaking with integrity. She's broke fidelity with you. She's broken the truth with you. And it makes it hard to negotiate terms, to broker agreements, to live in harmony, or just to makes it plain hard to live in the same house together when we live without fidelity, when we live without integrity.
The dude abides.
I mean, the truth abides, right? Truth holds. Truth is fidelity. The king of pop, Michael Jackson, once said, quote, "Lies run sprints, but the truth runs marathons." Or another famous singer, Elvis Presley, he put it like this: "Truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it ain't going away." Knowing that truth is fidelity is why people were taught for generations, don't worry, the truth will eventually come out. Because the truth sits there and it waits to be uncovered. Or to quote Ice Cube, truth is the ultimate power. When the truth comes around, all the lies have to run and hide. Thank you, Brainy Quotes, for those 3 quotes. Truth is integrity. Unless it's not. Wait, what? My stepdad, Mike, when he was a young boy, he got polio. Since I referenced polio earlier, I'll use it again here. In the 1950s, companies were racing to produce a vaccine that would eradicate polio. Mike got an attenuated vaccine shot when he was a little boy. Attenuated means the disease is present, but lessened or weakened, so the immune system can fight it and still win. Well, it's pretty clear that the shots Mike received were not attenuated enough, and he, along with 10,000s of others, ended up getting the disease from the vaccine. It's just a horror to imagine. And Mike has spent his life dealing with the after effects of that mess. Fatigue, loss of the use of one leg, weakness. Mike's a fighter. He doesn't complain about his handicap. And yes, people, don't worry, he calls it a handicap. In fact, he told me he's lived his life as a cripple. Speak the truth. Truth involves integrity, unless it doesn't. And that's why we need verification, oversight, accountability, a society-wide insistence on truth-telling. Oh, again, holy hemp. Public school systems used to have segments on character development, truth-telling, being a good citizen, helping people in need. Do they still have classes like that today? Email me and tell me at uncensoredunprofessor@gmail.com.
Hey, the UU thinking doesn't only happen on the podcast. We send out regular newsletters. We'd be happy to have you in that loop. You can subscribe at uncensoredunprofessor.com.
So truth is integrity. Truth involves fidelity, and that means truth's good not only for individuals and our relationships, it's good for families. Truth's good for society as a whole. And that takes me to number 4 in my thinking aloud with you today about truth. There's an existential, you can call it spiritual, you can call it psychological, there's an existential element to truth that holds true for most of the human race. And here it is. we are either imprisoned or set free by the truth, right? If when you're little, your dad tells you constantly and angrily that you are dumb and incapable, it can be hard to escape the imprisonment of those parental utterances. In the positive, though, knowing who you are is a means to greater freedom. Or, here's a simple example. Learning to look both ways when we're children before we cross the street, that was not merely a means to personal safety. It actually freed us up to cross streets. And if you don't learn that discipline, you might get to cross streets for a while, but eventually you're going to get creamed by a city bus. Truth can set us free. Or understanding something of your parents' and grandparents' own character, that can be a means of apprehending truth that can begin to set you free. When I learned that my maternal grandfather, his name was Valentine, when I learned that he had a hot temper, I realized, hey, some of this internal struggle of my own is generational. I am who I am, not only but significantly because of who my forebears were. Oh, and he liked philosophy too? That's fun. I have that in common with Grandpa Valentine. I never met him, but it's fun to know that I have that in common with him. And that again is all to say that knowing the truth sets us free. Knowing the truth brings realizations and abilities and new horizons to our lives. And again, that's the case not only in religious realms, but in simple and mundane ways in everyday life. If you know how to start the snowblower, you'll have a much better time getting your car out of your driveway in a blizzard than if you never took the time to learn how to start that dad-burn snowblower. Truth can set us free. And knowing that takes me to yet still another and fifth level or layer definition of truth. 5, truth is transformative.
What'd you say, Ed?
The truth is transformative. Now, I realize that in our era, saying that sounds positively phantasmic. We're such cynics. We're taught to positively distrust every truth assertion. And again, geez, that's going on in public schools, that doing that to young minds constitutes an education, constitutes a supposed mature adult. It's just brutal on people. It's brutal on society. But rightly understood, truth can transform us. We could make all manner of anecdotal remarks to prove this assertion, right? The right medicine can heal your body. You'll be a different person for not having to spend days upon days in bed. The truth of medicine can transform you. Practicing your piano will see you enjoy in the long run your piano playing. Practice will transform your playing and perhaps even transform you as a person. Confessing your sins to a Christian brother or sister is medicine to your soul. The truth of that action can be so powerful. Or diligent care of your vegetable garden will produce more yummy vegetables than just hoping that blackberries, rich red tomatoes, or lush green zucchinis will magically appear in your backyard. Truth can be transformative. And often, if it is embraced, it is transformative. And I got to tell you, this is the reality that began to most draw me toward Jesus Christ. Well, it kind of worked that way. I want to explain. In my life, I didn't become a Christian because I carefully surveyed the Christian religion and analyzed its premises and compared it to the other world major religions.